The episode begins with a metahuman from Apocalypse called Mantis wreaking havoc in Metropolis. When Superman and Captain Atom try to stop him, he attacks them, trapping Captain Atom in a block of ice. Before he can plummet to the ground, Superman picks him up and turns to Mantis to put a stop to his attacks. However, his distraction had given the metahuman enough time to get the upper hand and attack Superman, causing him to crash into a building behind him. Not far from them, Jimmy and Lois Lane watch Superman take a beating. Although they are worried, they know that there is not much they can do to help their friend. To their relief, Captain Atom manages to recover just in time to help Superman. Superman tells him that the civil war on his planet had caused Mantis to become desperate and assumed that things would be much simpler on Earth. The two of them corner the metahuman in a subway station where Captain Atom attacks him first. This gives Superman the chance to use a boom tube to open an extra-dimensional doorway to Apocalypse. With another one of Captain Atom's attacks, Mantis goes flying through the portal, back to Apocalypse. Soon after, Lois Lane joins them with an excuse to interview Superman after the completion of another successful mission. Seeing them sharing a romantic moment, Captain Atom takes this as his cue to leave. As he is leaving, he hears a man called General Eiling calling him. The general informs him that his commission has been activated and that he has been called back to the Air Force. Although Captain Atom tries to tell him that he's now joined the Justice League, he is told that he needs to choose his priorities. Meanwhile, Superman takes Lois to a rooftop for a picnic. Lois tells him that she is worried about him since he and the Justice League have been wrecking the cities. He assures her that the Justice League knows what they are doing, but Lois accuses him of acting like Lex Luthor. At the same time, Question works on retrieving data from a computer at a high-security Cadmus terminal, while the Huntress tackles the security guards trying to stop them. Once he is done, Question informs Huntress that he might find a link between Lex and Cadmus once he goes through the data. Elsewhere, Professor Hamilton tells Lex to take off his chest plate because his cancer is gone. He reveals that new scans of his body have revealed that he is as healthy as a 20-year-old. Shocked to hear this, Lex asks him how this can be possible, but the professor only has theories, not answers. He claims that it might be due to the kryptonite poisoning that gave him the cancer in the first place. Just then, they are interrupted by General Amanda Waller, who tells them about the infiltration. Lex asks the general if she knows what was taken, but she is unsure, claiming that they might have taken everything. Hearing this, Lex becomes worried and tells her that they better hope that the encryption on the files is as good as they have been told, or they will all find themselves in trouble. On the other hand, Question works tirelessly to crack the encryption until he finally manages to do it. Deep inside Cadmus's database, Question discovers a file tied to the Oval Office. As he opens it, he realizes that everything is connected and that it is not an alternate reality. Claiming that Lex will become president and kill Flash, in retaliation, Superman will kill Lex. He begins to spiral with the information he has come across and comes to the conclusion that the world is going to end. At that moment, Huntress burst into Question's apartment since he had not been answering her calls. However, he's too deep into his own mind and rushes out of the apartment after telling her that he has to try. Seeing his computer open, Huntress plays the video that Question had just watched. She hears Superman telling Lex that he can stop him using deadly force. But Lex only laughs it off, claiming that Superman loves being a hero too much and will never do anything that will paint him as a villain. Superman agrees that he likes being a hero, but will do anything to stop Lex from causing more destruction. Huntress watches as Superman turns towards Lex with his laser eyes. Meanwhile, Question arrives at the Watchtower and tells Superman that they need to talk. Superman takes him to a private conference room where Question dances around the topic of the White House. Finally, he reveals that he knows that Superman told everyone that in an alternate universe, a team of superheroes known as the Justice Lords came to their world to get rid of crime. However, before they could impose their own rules, the Justice League, with the help of Lex Luthor, managed to get rid of them. He claims that what Superman never told anyone outside of the original Justice League was that a Superman in the alternate universe killed the president. As soon as Superman hears this, he tells Question that this information cannot get out, but Question only challenges him and asks him if he would kill to keep the secret safe. When Superman insists that he would never do anything like that, Question tells him that he has been doing exactly what the Justice Lords did in the alternate universe, that it is only a matter of time before the Justice League begins to fight the government. Once again, Superman claims that they would never do that, but is left speechless when Question asks him if he would stop fighting Lex if he became the government. Superman tries to tell Question that something like that will never happen in their world, but he does not stay long enough to listen and leaves the Watchtower. Sometime later, Lex enters his office to find Question waiting for him. As Question goes in to attack him, Lex moves much quicker than him and knocks him down. He reveals that he has no intention of becoming a president because he would have to give up his power. He then gets one of his men to torture Question so that he will reveal the information he has discovered in the data. Despite getting tortured, Question refuses to reveal anything. Back in Metropolis, Superman hears an alarm going off and realizes that Jimmy is in trouble. When he finds Jimmy, he discovers that Huntress has taken him hostage so that she can ask him for help. She tells Superman that Question saw a fake video and began acting strange after it. Fearing that he might be in trouble, Huntress asks Superman to help her look for him. Once he agrees, they track Question to a secret Cadmus facility. They break into the facility where Superman confronts Professor Hamilton and asks him why he would join Cadmus. The professor reveals that he feared that Cadmus was his only defense against the Justice League. Frustrated, Superman and Huntress then make their way to the room where Question is being held and manage to rescue him. Before they can leave, Captain Atom stops them, claiming that since he has joined the Air Force again, he has been ordered to stop the superheroes from taking Question away. Since Captain Atom refuses to back down, Superman instructs Huntress to take Question out of the facility and ask John to teleport them to the Watchtower. Once the two of them leave, he turns to Captain Atom and attacks him. They continue fighting while Huntress tries to find a way out of the facility. Captain Atom relentlessly attacks Superman, who had been holding back since he was part of the Justice League. However, he decides that he needs to end things quickly and uses all of his power to knock the captain down. Meanwhile, Huntress reaches the rooftop with Question and connects to the Justice League communication channel. Green Lantern is the first one to respond, and he tells Huntress to get off their channel since she is no longer part of the League. When she tells him that the orders came from Superman, he teleports the two of them back to the Watchtower where Question receives medical treatment. On the other hand, Superman refuses to let anyone treat Captain Atom at the Cadmus facility and brings him back to the Watchtower as well. Supergirl watches as Captain Atom gets treated. Superman informs her that both the Captain and Professor Hamilton have betrayed them. Although Supergirl finds it hard to believe that Captain Atom would betray them, but realizes Professor Hamilton had also been the one to clone her. When she asks Superman why he would do that, he claims that the professor was scared of them. Knowing that he needs to get more answers before making his next move, Superman visits Question and asks him how he was captured by Cadmus. Question reveals that he wanted to kill Lex Luthor before Superman could do it in a fit of rage and cause the end of the world. When Superman reminds him that this is not how the Justice League does things, Question tells him that there is no other way before dismissing him. Frustrated, Superman goes to John and asks him why they can't go and stop Cadmus right away. John reminds him that they don't have any proof of their wrongdoings. Green Arrow also speaks up for the first time and claims that they should be spending their time trying to find evidence against Cadmus instead of threatening to finish them off wrongfully. He also claims that the government is not wrong to fear them because, as someone with no special powers, he worries that the Justice League might decide that they find him guilty of some wrongdoing and come after him. This causes an argument to break out between them. Back on Earth, General Waller contacts Lex and informs him that Superman broke into a Cadmus facility, taking both Captain Atom and Question back to the Watchtower with him. Lex, however, is not worried, and he claims that he is not worried about the Justice League because they are soon going to have problems of their own. He also adds that he has a full presidential pardon, but the general tells him that they won't be able to protect him for new crimes. At the Watchtower, the superheroes continue to argue when an alarm goes off. John checks and finds that the primary fusion generator initialization sequence is in progress. He tells the computer to abort, but it is unable to comply with the command. He then tries to override the command, but once again, fails. He tells everyone to prepare for binary fusion discharge while he tries his best to shut the weapon down. Despite breaking the circuit, the weapon does not shut down. Superman flies toward the binary fusion, but before he can reach it, the weapon goes off. It hits Cadmus headquarters and causes mass destruction in the city. While everyone tries to recover, the president calls John and asks for an explanation. John tries to tell him that they did not fire the weapon and that it was activated by an anonymous third party. The president agrees to give them the benefit of the doubt, but warns John that if they are found guilty during the investigation, the government will come at the Justice League with full force. Sometime later, General Waller calls the president and informs him of the break-in at Cadmus right before they were attacked, claiming that it was retaliation for capturing Question. While the president weighs his options, the Justice League superheroes arrive on Earth and begin rescuing people. Everything goes smoothly until people realize that the Justice League is responsible for the destruction. Meanwhile, General Waller waits for directions from the president, but when she does not hear back from him, she decides to take matters into her own hands. She goes back to the Cadmus facility where she orders Supergirl's clone, Galatea, to take down the Justice League along with the Ultimen, a genetically engineered group of superheroes who are loyal to the United States. To prepare for her mission, Professor Hamilton installs a device into Galatea's head. He tells her that it will help her control the Ultimen, who have no will of their own, claiming that when the light is red, the Ultimen will be in puppet mode, allowing her to command them. Just then, they are interrupted by General Waller, who tells them that it is time to leave. Back at the Watchtower, John and the others work to get power back on. Once the power is restored, Flash contacts John and tells him that people blame them for the attack. When John offers to send more help, Flash tells him that it might not be a good idea since most people don't see them as heroes anymore. Once Flash leaves, Superman joins John in the control room and tells him and the other Justice League members to meet in the conference room. There, he wonders how things could have gone so wrong. However, John reminds his friends that it is not their fault, claiming that someone took control of the binary fusion generator and they are responsible for destroying the Cadmus facility along with half of New Mexico. This is where Wonder Woman comes in, and she tells them that they need to show everyone that they are trying to make things better, which is why they should dismantle the binary fusion generator until they can prove who was behind the attack. Knowing that this will not be enough to gain back the public's trust, Superman comes up with another plan. The Justice League members then announce that they are going to turn themselves in until the real culprit is caught. Supergirl tries to argue that it is not fair for the good guys to be punished for it, but when Superman tells her to hold the fort until they return, she agrees to not create any problems. Not long after that, the Justice League took the jet and headed toward Earth. They contact Flash and Batman before filling them into their plan. As expected, Batman opposes the plan, claiming that they are being stupid before ending the call. Flash, on the other hand, agrees to turn himself in. That night, the Justice League members arrive at a military base where they are taken into custody, except for Batman, who has not shown up. At the Watchtower, Supergirl expresses her concern over the Justice League's safety, but her friend Steel assures her that the superheroes will be okay, because they have always made the right choices. All of a sudden, someone tells them to look out the window where they notice several missiles headed their way. Steel tells everyone to brace for impact just as the missiles smash through the Watchtower. To everyone's surprise, the missiles don't explode, but the Ultimen who were inside the missiles jump out and begin attacking everyone. Galatea orders the Ultimen to keep the superheroes away and make sure that she remains undetected. Meanwhile, the rest of the superheroes continue to fight the Ultimen. When Steel hears an alarm going off, he tells Supergirl to hold the fort while he flies to the arc reactor chamber to find out what is going on. At the same time, Batman arrives at the new Cadmus headquarters, where General Waller is watching the missiles hitting the Watchtower. He manages to corner her and tells her that the Justice League was not behind the attack, claiming that the only other person who has enough power and knowledge to remotely take control of the weapon is Lex Luthor. Once he plants the seed of doubt in her mind, Batman disappears again. At the Watchtower, the superheroes combine their powers and manage to overpower the Ultimen, giving Supergirl a chance to check on Steel. On her way to the arc reactor chamber, she comes across an injured and unconscious Atom. She stops to help him, but quickly realizes that she needs to find Steel first. As soon as she enters the chamber, she notices Galatea beating Steel. Before she can inflict any more damage, Supergirl tells her to stop. Galatea drops Steel and prepares for another battle with Supergirl. She reveals that she is about to set the arc reactor to overload and blow up the Watchtower. She then attacks Supergirl, who struggles to fight back. On the other hand, General Waller discovers that she has been played by Lex, and that he has stolen their tech to ensure that his master plan comes true. She contacts Galatea and orders her to stand down, claiming that the mission has been scrubbed. However, Galatea is too gone and refuses to listen to the orders. As she continues beating Supergirl, Steel notices that the system is about to reboot in a few seconds. He calls out to Supergirl and tells her to be prepared. This gives her the motivation to fight back against Galatea. Supergirl punches Galatea back just as the power is restored. She then pulls out a wire and electrocutes Galatea with it. With her no longer functioning, the Ultimen stop fighting against the superheroes as well. Elsewhere, Lex completes his pet project, a super powerful immortal body where he can spend the rest of eternity. Just then, Batman appears beside him, claiming that he knew that the real purpose of Cadmus was to give him power. Lex begins to laugh and admits that he is going to become as powerful as Superman and defeat him. Since people have begun to fear the Justice League, they are going to worship him for taking down a dangerous threat. Batman then attacks him, but somehow Lex manages to stop him before throwing him out of the window. With no one left to interrupt him, Lex prepares to infuse himself with the armor, but General Waller breaks in and uses one of his techs, the nano disassembler beam, to destroy the armor. This does not sit well with Lex, and he attacks General Waller, claiming that it will take him weeks to rebuild the armor. As he walks up to the General, intent on killing her once and for all, he asks her if she thought that she would be able to take him down alone. To his surprise, the General confesses that she did think she would take him down, but in case she could not, she brought the entire Justice League to help her with it. Seeing the Justice League behind him, Lex begins to freak out just as his body begins to transform. Horrified, everyone watches as they notice Brainiac making an appearance, revealing that he has taken over Lex's body. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos, and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.